Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores coming with a Rico report. The main topic being discussed today is whether or not Logan Thomas and Curtis Samuel are ready to return against the Seahawks. I'm gonna show y'all some practice clips. Y'all be the judge of it. From the looks of it, I definitely would bet on Logan Thomas being more likely to return than Curtis Samuel, but it looks like both of them may actually be healthy enough to return. And thank goodness we're playing Monday instead of Sunday, because that definitely helps. Every day matters. So we're gonna take a look at some of those practice clips, and also there was some roster moves, another injury update, and then I also have some crazy stats for y'all to end the video. But before we dive into all of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification immediately. And every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one, make sure you check out the rest of the channel. All of my videos are organized in playlists. I even have a comedy playlist for all of my funny videos. I'm gonna try to get a video done tomorrow, as in Thursday, as in Thanksgiving, earlier in the day, because if I don't get it done sometime early in the day, it's over with. And without further ado, let's get it. Alright, so like I promised y'all in the intro, here are the Logan Thomas and Curtis Samuel practice clips, starting with Logan Thomas and Curtis Samuel. The time that you will see on the screen is what you can skip to if you don't want to watch the practice clips, but I feel like that's what most people are here for. So here go the clips. And yeah, like I said in the intro, I feel like Logan Thomas is a safer bet to return Monday against the Seahawks, but it does not look like Curtis Samuel is far off. I mean, Curtis Samuel definitely looks better in those clips than I expected, but I mean, we'll see. We got to look at this injury report. I believe the first one comes out tomorrow, as in Thursday. Normally comes out Wednesday. We get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but that's because we normally play on Sundays. Now that we play on Monday, I believe it's Thursday, Friday, and I believe Saturday that will be the final injury report. So of course I'm gonna keep y'all updated daily on that to see like where we truly are with that, because I mean, just Curtis Samuel and Logan Thomas practicing again is huge for us. But does that necessarily mean they're ready to play just because he's practicing? Logan Thomas was recently taken off of IR, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna play. A player can be taken off IR and they can start practicing, but that does not necessarily mean that they're going to play immediately. It's a great sign because players can practice while on IR. It's a great sign, but we'll have to see. Again, I think it's a safer bet to bet on Logan Thomas than Curtis Samuel, but I'm not exactly sure if either of them are safe bets in general. But I am optimistic that Logan Thomas will play against the Seahawks. Curtis Samuel, we'll see, but I'm definitely a little bit more optimistic after watching those practice clips than I was before I watched the practice clips. Like, he actually looks like he may play for real. And then the other injury update, of course, Washington center Tyler Larsen, the backup to Chase Roulier. Well, he was the starter since Chase Roulier is out for season. He got injured on a run play in the second quarter, and it's believed that he has an MCL sprain. So we'll see how long he's out. It sounds like he won't play against the Seahawks, assuming so, which means Wes Schweitzer, who's our backup backup guard, our second string right guard, is now our third string starting center. So this offensive line is being jumbled all around. It's amazing that they're still producing at a top 5 level. Our offensive line is putting up elite advanced statistics. We ran the ball for more yards than we had passing yards in a win against Carolina. You can only do that with a fantastic offensive line. That should tell you everything you need to know about our offensive line. And then lastly, before we move on to the crazy stats, roster move wise, Washington protected 4 practice squad players this week. Every week, you can pick which practice squad players you're going to protect so that no other team can take them from your roster. And so we have quarterback Kyle Shermer, who's technically like our third string quarterback. You have Nolan Laufenberg, the guard. I mean, now especially with Wes Schweitzer technically as our starting center, we need more guards. And then they also signed John Toth, a center, to be the backup center to Wes Schweitzer. And then you have tackle David Steinmetz. I mean, our offensive line is getting obliterated by injuries. And that's why the practice squad players that we usually protect are offensive linemen, because that's where we have the most injuries at position group wise. And at the same time, it's our best position group. It's crazy. John Moscow deserves a raise, man, for real. Now moving on to crazy stats, we got to start with the GOAT himself, Terry McLaurin. First of all, Pro Football Focus has him graded as their third best receiver from last week, week 11. They had Elijah Moore with a 91.9, the highest grade out of any receiver week 11. Devontae Adams with an 89.1, and Terry McLaurin with the 87.6. And then also Nikki Javala tweeted out some crazy advanced statistics that Terry McLaurin is a part of. Among all starting receivers from 2020 to 2021, there are only 2 receivers who have top 10 rates in all of these categories. And the categories are percentage of team snaps, percentage of team targets, percentage of team's receptions, percentage of a team's reception yards, percentage of a team's reception touchdowns, and a percentage of a team's red zone targets. Those receivers are Terry McLaurin and Tyreek Hill, as you can see on the screen. And you can also see where they rank. And Terry McLaurin's statistics look better than Tyreek Hill's. Just on average, his rankings are higher if you're looking at all of those stats. So here's another argument for why Terry McLaurin is the best receiver in the NFL. He's doing something that only Tyreek Hill is doing in the NFL right now, and he's doing it better. And I mean, I'm gonna keep telling y'all this, but Terry McLaurin leads the NFL in contested catches with 23. The second place receiver out of the entire NFL only has 14. He's 9 ahead of the next best contested catch receiver in the NFL. Like, come on, bro. Moving on to Taylor Heinicke. Taylor Heinicke's ranks amongst quarterbacks over the last 2 games. Second in passer rating with a 127, second in completion percentage with a 77.8%, and then he's tied for second in touchdowns with 4, sixth in yards per attempt with 8.6, and tied for first with no interceptions, of course. And shouts out to Rico's Rag for providing those statistics. These last 2 games, Taylor Heinicke's been killing it, honestly. And then also, out of Antonio Gibson's 93 yards rushing against the Panthers, 59 of them were after contact. So our offensive line is dominating, but Antonio Gibson is producing heavily behind that offensive line. Again, he rushed for 93 yards and he didn't play the whole second half of the first quarter and the entire second quarter after that fumble. They benched him for the rest of the half, and then he came back that second half running like a madman, running like a guy that hates to be benched. Just imagine how productive he would have been, how many yards he would have had if he never got benched, if he never fumbled. Also, the highest graded defenders on 3rd and 4th down this season are Jonathan Allen and Myles Garrett. They both have 91.7 grades from Pro Football Focus. Defenders, not defensive line, not, anything specific, just pure defenders in the NFL on 3rd and 4th downs. The highest graded are Jonathan Allen and Myles Garrett with the same grade. Also, I'm not sure if people have noticed, but Jonathan Allen, even though he didn't record a sack, Jonathan Allen led the team in pressures with 4. He had 1 hit and 3 hurries. Deron Payne had 2, 1 sack, 1 hit. Casey Toohill had 2, 1 hit, 1 hurry. Cameron Curl had just 1 hurry, and James Smith-Williams had 1 sack. So Jonathan Allen was definitely our most consistent disruptor against the Carolina Panthers, like he's been all season for us. Except for like 1 or 2 games where maybe somebody else had more pressures than him. I know Montez Sweat beat him in pressures 1 game early in the season. Other than that, it's basically just been Jonathan Allen leading the way. Also, shouts out to Let Maul Tell It on Twitter. He pointed out the fact that Washington's defense over the past 4 games has allowed 286 yards per game, which would be second in the NFL if we had those statistics throughout throughout the entire season, 76 rushing yards allowed per game, which would be first in the NFL, 210 passing yards allowed per game, which would be sixth, and 21 points per game, which would be 10th in the NFL. So if we played how we played these last 4 weeks throughout the entire season and put up these type of stats, we would have arguably a top 3 defense in the NFL, but we just did so bad. We performed so poorly the first few games that we're never going to reach elite company statistics wise this season because we're just doing too much catching up. Also, Washington has 12 fourth down conversions this season, which is tied for the most in the NFL. That's crazy in itself. Oh, and before we get up out of here, man, this London Fletcher disrespect is getting out of hand. Shouts out to Ryan Fowler for these stats on the screen. And when you look at London Fletcher's stats and compare them to greats like Ray Lewis, his stats are on par or better than a lot of those guys who are already in the Hall of Fame in several categories. So it just makes no sense that he's being disrespected like this, because there's no way he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, let alone not even one of the finalists to potentially make the Hall of Fame. Like, the disrespect for London Fletcher is so crazy, and I feel so bad for him because I'm pretty sure 99% of it is because of the team he played for and when he played for them. He deserves better, man, for sure. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Do you feel like Logan Thomas and Curtis Samuel are ready to come back and return against the Seahawks? Because I definitely feel like we're going to need them, but I definitely feel like the Seahawks are also very beatable. But I'm going to talk about that in my preview video against the Seahawks and how we can beat them, the matchups, the X factors, and my score prediction and all of that. And then also, I mean, these crazy statistics. Let me know how you feel about those. Is Terry McLaurin at the very minimum a top 5 receiver in the NFL? Is our defense finally figuring it out and actually playing at an elite level? And of course, like, Jonathan Allen and Terry McLaurin easily should be getting Pro Bowl votes, but you could definitely argue that both of those guys also deserve All-Pro consideration. I think Jonathan Allen and Terry McLaurin are definitely playing like All-Pros this season, at the very least seconds. So get in the comment section, let me know how you feel about that opinion as well. But yeah, man, I appreciate all of the support, man. Shouts out to everybody that donates to the channel. Shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now, man. I really appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.